So I recently started reading a book called The Shock Doctrine: The Rise of Disaster Capitalism by Naomi Klein. And she starts out the book pretty much explaining what disaster capitalism is. And it's all kind of based on this idea that if there's some kind of disaster, whether it's a man-made disaster like 9/11 or a natural disaster like the hurricanes we've been seeing, and like Hurricane Katrina, there's this psychological thing where people are just shocked by it and don't know what to do, really. And the capitalism part of it is basically how corporations and governments take advantage of that situation. And she gave the example of Hurricane Katrina and how their whole school system was magically revamped to be a charter school system where people had to get these vouchers or whatever for their kids to go to school. So instead of it being a free system, it turned into a money-making private industry. And she gave this example because it wasn't the community deciding this. No, it was these companies that were moving in and rebuilding stuff. Rebuilding it how they wanted it rebuilt, because the residents were spread out and unhomes, maybe in FEMA camps, and not in any sort of situation to resist any of the changes they decided to make in their area. And while I was reading this, I just kept thinking about the hurricane survivors in the Carolinas and how it kind of seems like that's what's happening there. And even in Maui, where who's gonna do anything about it if they're all displaced and don't have homes, and they have the government coming in and saying, "I'll give you this $750 check," or give them a check for their property or something, which it doesn't kind of seem like they're getting a choice about selling their property. And if a place is that destroyed, what we've witnessed really in the past, and I'm going to say the present too, is what do we really see out of those areas? Because they don't have all the infrastructure to have things go up online right away. So it's kind of like they're in the dark unless somebody goes in there and films. But even with situations like that, there's a delay. And then you hear about what happened later. It's not the same deal as when everyone has the infrastructure and we're seeing what's happening, which makes it pretty easy for the government to say, "Oh no, they're lying about that," or "that's not happening." So then it's a situation of what you're hearing from those residents versus what the government's admitting or denying. But when you have people talking about government checkpoints and being treated like they're criminals rather than hurricane survivors, I'm gonna be siding with the whole idea that what we're seeing here is disaster capitalism. That our government, instead of helping people, might just be taking advantage of the situation, right? To remake the area into what they want. And those survivors might just be in the way of their plans.